Hi Fayetteville, this is Coach Nate with Meta Martial Arts. I'm very happy to be training with y'all today. Let's go over a few basic boxing techniques. Then we will put a numbering system to some basic combos. Then we'll kind of make some compound combos where we can call out numbers and then kind of make it reactive so it's a fun and exciting game that you can play that's going to develop your boxing technique and get you some good exercise, okay? So first, let's start in our kickboxing stance. I'm gonna do this mirror image, so I'm actually going to stand in a southpaw position so that you can mirror image me, right? So as a right-handed person, you're gonna have, and I'm doing mirror image, so I'm saying an opposite of what it actually is. So as a right-handed person, I'm gonna have my left foot forward and my left hand forward, right? I'm gonna have this foot facing my target, this foot facing just 45 degrees off of that target line, okay? So I wanna have my knees bent and I wanna pretend that there's a line splitting my legs here and a line splitting my legs that way, right? So I don't wanna be standing on either one of those lines. So first, let's start with our jab, the most important and most basic punch in boxing, right? So I want to get the weight off my heels and kind of put the weight on the balls of my feet. When I throw my jab, I'm going to drive, I'm going to shift weight from my back foot and kind of drive it to my front leg and then get back into my stand. So for my boxing stance, I'm going to drive off this foot, boom, and then shift weight to that foot and then bring it back. So this is kind of like my gas and this is my brake, right? So I gas as I protect here on this side and then brake on the front side and then put it back into reverse, right? So now I'm kind of posing in this position so that we can see that my shoulder touches my chin for protection on this side, my hand touches my chin for protection on this side, my elbow protects my body on that side, and then I want to get back into position so now my elbow can protect my body on that side. So here's what it looks like from the side view. Okay, so you notice I'm making like a little hissing sound. I'm monitoring my breathing. I'm regulating that breathing. I'm also making sure that I'm exhaling on every strike that I throw. Okay. Now I'm throwing these nice and light. I'm kind of posing into position. We don't want to stay in those positions for long. What we really want to do is snap and then get back into position so that we're not exposed for any substantial amount of time. Okay. So that's your basic jab, the most important punch in boxing. Now for our cross, and that's with our rear hand, right? So for a conventional stance, that's going to be with your right hand. For a left-handed fighter, a southpaw fighter, that's going to be the cross is going to be with your left hand. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Your cross for a conventional stance is going to be right hand. For a southpaw fighter, it's going to be with your left hand, right? So here's what it looks like from this front view here. I've got my hands guarding my face. I've got my elbows blocking my body. And I'm going to pivot this knee in, kind of turn my hip. As I turn that heel out, boom, I pull this shoulder back as this shoulder comes forward. And same thing, I'm blocking my chin here on this side with my shoulder, and I'm blocking my chin here on this side with my hand, right? So I'm staying protected as I roll this hand over at the very end, right? So protecting my body, roll it over and snap, and then retract. And then everything rotates and snaps at the very end, okay? So here's what it looks like from the side view. Keep in mind, I'm standing in a southpaw stance, so I'm actually throwing my left hand. But if you were to mirror image me, you would be throwing your right hand from this front view. So here's what it looks like from the side, from a southpaw stance. Notice how everything snaps and pops at the very end of that strike. And that's where we get our power, right? For those straight punches, we get our power at the very end of the strike. So we want to stay loose with our arms, hips, and legs, boom, until the very end where it can snap, pop, and retract into place, okay? Think about like a snake striking, right? They strike, and then they get back to recoil, all right? So that is our cross, right? That's our number 2 punch. Our number 3 punch is our hook, right? So from a kickboxing stance, you know, fundamentally, as far as the footwork and the leg work, it's the same. I'm going to turn that knee in. I'm going to turn that heel out. My hips are going to turn. I'm going to protect here on this side with my hand. I'm going to protect here on this side with my shoulder. Boom, I'm going to drive through, and then pop back into my boxing position. Boom, boom. Hook and retract. Notice how everything kind of coordinates and then pops at the same time. And there's a lot of shoulder movement, right? And with these punches, I don't want to lean, right? I want to rotate on an axis to where I'm not getting off balance. I'm staying on balance. And same thing, you know, I'm exhaling and regulating my breathing as I strike, okay? So now let's go to our uppercut, all right? So that's the last one. That's the last punch we're going to work today before we get to our combination. So our uppercut, we want to load here with our legs, right? So our power starts from the ground, transfers through our legs, through our hips, through our core, and then comes out the end of our hand, right? So from this kickboxing stance, I'm going to lower my level and kind of dip here on that side. I'm closing everything up, and then I'm going to open up, boom, towards the sky. And fundamentally, from the ground, it stays the same. I turn that knee in, I turn that heel out, I turn my hip, I kind of open my chest and my shoulder, boom, right? As I keep my chin down and stay protected. Now let's make a note that on every punch that we throw, I don't want to turn my chin. I just want to turn my shoulders, and I want to keep my chin straight forward, right? So, boom, my chin stays straight forward as my shoulders and hips pivot, because I don't want to turn, because then I become exposed and I can't really see my target, right? So let's look at these uppercuts. So I'm loading down this way, I'm opening up and then closing back down. Let's look at it from the side view. Okay, nice. So now we got our basic punches down, our jab, cross, hook, and uppercut, right? And there's variations of each one of those, but we're just staying very basic today. So now let's go into a fun game where we can kind of play combinations. Let's say number 1 is going to be our jab, jab, cross, all right? So when we throw a double jab, we throw one jab and we bring it halfway back and we throw that jab again. And then as the jab's retracting, we throw our cross. So here's what it's going to look like from the front view. Number 1, jab, jab, cross, and then retract. Number 1, jab, jab, cross. And you can notice that my footwork coordinates with my jab and my cross. So everything starts from the ground and coordinates all the way up. So let's look at number 1 a couple more times. Let's look at it from the side now. Okay, so that's our number 1 combination. Number 2 combination is going to go jab, cross, hook. Okay, number 2, jab, cross, hook. Now let's look at it with a little bit more speed. 2, 2, 2, and 2. Look at it from the side. 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay. Every punch that we throw, the hand that's not punching, that protects the chin and the face. The hand that is punching, that same shoulder, protects the chin on the other side. And then we want to get back into position so that we can protect our body with our elbows and arms, okay? So let's go to number 3. Our number 3 combination is a cross, hook, cross. So cross, hook, cross. Now, a big mistake that we see with the crosses early on is people start to lean and they try to get power like that. and you're off balance. So if you do miss your target, you may fall forward. You want to be on balance. So we're just gonna rotate. We're gonna get rotational power and shift weight as we rotate. So cross, hook, cross. That's a number 3 combination. Number 4 combination is a hook, cross, hook. Hook, cross, hook, excuse me. Hook, cross, hook. Hook, cross, hook. Let's look at it from the side. Okay, that's number 4 combination. Number 5 combination is overhand. So overhand, hook, cross. I'm sorry, we didn't go over the overhand. Overhand is kind of like a rear hook, but it's going to come down at a 45-degree angle, right? So we're going to go overhand, hook, cross. And there's different variations of this overhand. I'm kind of doing like a more MMA style type of overhand, but that's our number 5 combination. So overhand, hook, cross. And you can treat the overhand kind of like a cross as far as from the ground to your hip, everything stays the same. It's just that your shoulders turn on this axis, right? And you're coming down at an angle. Maybe not quite a 45-degree angle, maybe more like a 30-degree angle. So let's look at that combination there. So overhand, hook, cross. All right. Look at it from the side. Okay. Honestly, I don't personally throw a whole lot of overhands. It's something that you're going to throw as you kind of like bob and weave, boom, and then throw that overhand type of punch. All right. And I am a right-handed fighter, so I threw it with my right hand, but I'm practicing for y'all so that you can mirror image me. So I'm going from a southpaw stance here. All right, that's number 5. Number 6 is going to be head hook, drop level body hook, back up to the head. So number 6, head, body, head. So we got to change levels. I don't want to change levels by bending at the hips. I want to change levels by bending my knees. Okay, so we're going to go head, body, head, head, body, head, head, body, head, head, body, head. That's a number 6. Look at it from the side, and it could even be head, straight to the body, back up to the head if you want to make a little bit of a variation on that. So we'll go head, body, head, head, body, head. And that's with the straight punch, or it could be 3 hooks. Head, body, head. 2 more. Head, body, head, head, body, head. Okay? So that's our number 6 combination. Our number 7 combination is going to be rear uppercut, hook, cross. So I dip on that first. As I load for the uppercut, I go uppercut, hook, cross. Now notice every punch that we throw, our hips are turning, our knees are turning in, and our heels are turning out, okay? So number 7, dip, up, hook, cross. 7. Okay. Number 7 from the side here. Oh, messed up. Okay. So I like to think about that as a reactive combo after you block to the body, right? You block to the body, you come up, hook, cross as a counter type of striking combination. Number 8, and this is the last combo, and then we'll get into the game that we play, right? So number 8 is going to be from the other side. So we dip here on this lead side, we come up, cross, hook. So dip, up, cross, hook, a couple more times. Dip, up, cross, hook, dip, up, cross, hook, dip, up, cross, hook. And that's our number 8. Let's look at it from the side. And from the side, if you're a traditional stance fighter or you're a right-handed person, you'll be with a left leg lead I'm just practicing it from a right leg lead so that you can see, okay? So we dip on that lead side, up, cross, hook, dip, up, cross, hook, dip, up, cross, hook, okay? And if you notice, punches, you know, you use your whole body. Everything coordinates together. It's not just your arms throwing, right? It's from the ground up. You're using the ground as your driving reference point. You're shifting your weight to your other leg, and you're transferring that power through your legs, through your hips, through your core, out the end of your hand there, okay? Now, let's set a rule that says every time we end with a left-handed punch, and it really is my right, but again, we're going mirror image. Every time I end a combination with the left hand, then I'm going to slip and then pivot on my lead leg, okay? So for instance, if I call a number 2, which is a jab, cross, hook, right? I just ended the combo with my left. So now I'm gonna step off the line as I slip my head like out of the way of a punch, and I'm gonna pivot on that line as if my opponent was coming towards me and I'm trying to take this dominant angle on them, okay? So let's say, for instance, number 2, as we said, jab, cross, hook, we slip, pivot, okay? And then we'll get back on the line just so you can see what I'm doing, right? Let's say, for instance, we call that a number 1, which is the jab, jab, cross, right? After we end a combination with the right hand, whether it's an uppercut or whether it's a straight right, we're gonna bob and weave. So I've kind of rotated off to this side, my head's in line over this leg. I'm gonna dip as I retract this arm in, I'm gonna roll under, and I'm gonna pivot my legs off to the side as if my opponent was coming down this line to me, and I'm like playing bullfighter. I'm trying to get off the line and take the dominant angle, okay? So for instance, number 1, jab, jab, cross, roll as I retract, shift my feet, boom, then I can hit the next combination off at that dominant angle, okay? So let's, with those rules in play, now you can start to call out single combinations. So let's go through them, right? 1, back on the line. Now, normally we wouldn't get back on the line. We would stay in this position and box from that position, but just so that you can see what's going on from getting back on the line into position. Number 2, jab, cross, hook, slip, roll, or slip, pivot. Number 3, cross, hook, cross, roll, shuffle off the line, okay? Number 4, hook, cross, hook, slip as we step off the line, and then we pivot. Now notice the line was here. Now I'm off the line. I don't want to pivot on the line, then I'm still in danger here. I need to get off the line before I pivot. Number 5, overhand, hook, cross. We just ended with the right, so we got to roll. We got to shuffle, step off the line. Here's the line that we got off of, okay? Number 6, head, body, head, or head, body, head. We ended with the left hand, so we got to step and slip and then pivot off the line into our boxing stance. Number 8, wait, yeah, that was 6. Let's go with number 7. So we dip, up, hook, cross. We ended with the right, so now we roll on the retraction of the right hand. We shuffle off the line. That's number 7. Number 8, we're gonna dip, up, cross, hook, slip, and pivot, okay? So now here's where it becomes interesting and fun and kind of stimulates the brain and makes you react, right? I'm gonna call an odd number and then an even number, or an odd or an even number, then an odd number, okay? So we're gonna do the first, so say I call 1, 4, okay? So 1, 4 is gonna look like this. Jab, jab, cross, right? I gotta roll under, pivot off the line. Now 4 from this position, hook, cross, hook. Now the 4 will make us step and slip and then get us back onto that line, all right? So that's what we call odds and then evens, or evens and odds. So it gets us back into position so we can see what's going on. And you can play with that, you can do it however you want. But I like doing it this way so that people are kind of on the same page. So let's say we call out a 2-5. So 2 is jab, cross, hook, slip and step. We pivot, a 5, overhand, hook, cross, we roll, boom, as we shuffle back into position. Let's go 3-6, cross, hook, cross, roll, shuffle, 6, head, body, head, slip, pivot back on the line, okay? Let's go 4-7. So 4, hook, cross, hook, slip as we step, pivot off the line. 7, up, hook, cross, roll under, shuffle, step back on the line, okay? So you can see that we're doing one combination, the odd or the even facing this way. We're taking our angle and then throwing that combination and then getting back at this angle, okay? So let's go, we just did 4-7, let's go 5-8. So 5-8, overhand, hook, cross, roll, shuffle, 8, dip, up, cross, hook, slip, pivot off the line. And now we're back into position, right? So now you can have somebody randomly call numbers. So I'm gonna play this game with myself and with y'all just a little bit, and I'll call out random odd and even, or even and odd numbers, and then we'll hit the combination. All right. Kickboxing stance, 1-4. 9, 2-5. 3-6. 4-7. And 5-8. Boom, okay? So now you can go as fast as you want to. Once you kind of learn the technique, polish it up, start slow so that you can carve those grooves, get your technique down, and then you can start reacting fast and then going as fast as you want, but it's easier to learn it slow. But anyway, I appreciate y'all's time. I hope y'all have a wonderful workout, and thank you so much for joining me.